All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alex, your toxic dating coach, coming to you from another country. And today we're going to talk about the psychology of men during no contact. What happens when you're talking to a guy, he's not behaving the way you want him to behave, and so you go no contact at him, and you stop chatting with him. And no contact could be a breakup, or it could be that you just want some space, or it could be that you're just a little bit too busy, temporary pulling aways. What goes on in their heads, okay? And why does it work? So we're gonna be talking about the neuroscience behind this. I've been studying people. I'm taking neuroscience courses from Harvard online, because I'm like, I want to be educated, okay? I don't want to be a bullshitter, all right? I want to know what I'm talking about, and so I'm really taking it seriously. Speaking of that, and there's a new seminar coming out in December 4th. It's about social intelligence. Go get your tickets, okay? It's gonna be bomb, all right? And also, you can buy the tickets online as well. You guys could. I'm opening up for people to be able to watch it online. So it's gonna be like $70. It's more. It's gonna be more because this is gonna be a course, and if you guys record it, you guys are, when I'm gonna record this, so I don't have to buy the course. Well, guess what? Well, then you're gonna have to pay the price, boo boo. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be in the description down below. Attend. It's going to be really fun. Trust me. There's a lot of work that I'm putting into it. So, all right, let's begin this. So, look, what happens when a man goes non-contact? First of all, most people, depending on their level of pride, they'll be able to hold on for a few days or maybe a few weeks. Okay. And some people have so much pride that they'll rather cut their nose to spite their face. All right. So, that's one thing. The goal of no contact is to get the guy to sort of submit to you in a weird way, temporarily at least, or even to come chasing back, right? Or to right a wrong that he did, or to give you more leverage. That's the purpose of no contact. But the core of no contact is inflicting pain, all right? So this is the type of pain that men feel. One, envy and jealousy. Men naturally feel competition. They can sense the competition. And men sense male competition during two scenarios. One, when he's around you and there's other men. Two, when he's not around you, okay? He naturally senses the competition. And so his mind will his brain will fill his mind up with fantasies. Of you getting banged by Tyrone and stuff like that, or you all of those sexual fantasies of you being with another man is gonna be filled with rage. Honestly, like I remember like thinking about my ex banging another dude. It filled me up with rage, and it becomes consuming, and that's why studies show that women get murdered most often by their partners. All right. And the reason why this is because whenever you pull away and a guy feels like you're with another man, his serotonin level depletes. It gets lower. Serotonin is a neurochemical that you feel whenever you feel like you've gotten respect. All right, and because he feels like, because his serotonin levels are down, naturally he's gonna feel like he's threatened. He's gonna feel threatened. And what's going to happen is that's going to cause them to think that every action that you do could potentially be that you found another guy. Why? Because the brain has 10 times more neurons to tell your eyes what to see than the neurons in your brains to tell your brain what it's seeing. In other words, it's a lot easier for you to project things and to see things that are not there. And that's why when you like a guy, you value him, all of a sudden you see threats everywhere. All of a sudden, Melissa, who was his best friend, now who's the bitch, right? Now she's a threat, right? Now, all of a sudden, you don't mind girls liking his photo, but once you like him, now you mind fucking Becky from HR liking Tyrone's photos and stuff like that, right? Why? Because now there's a threat, okay? And so because of that, he's gonna start looking at your social media. He's gonna start if you let him follow you, or if you keep your account open and stuff like that, he's gonna be looking into everything that you post. That's why if you're trying to make him jealous while no contact, don't be so obvious, because he's gonna pay attention to everything. He's gonna pay attention to every single thing that you do. If you take a photo and in the background there's a bottle of wine and two empty cups, Trust me when I say this to you, Tyrone's gonna be noticing that kind of stuff. All right. Oh, I can promise you, if the girl goes don't contact with Tyrone, and then she posts a photo, and I see 2 wine glasses, I can promise you that Tyrone's gonna have a problem with that. Okay. Anyways, Tyrone out. Exactly. You see what I'm trying to say? And these are the 2 forms of jealousy. You gotta watch out for this because some guys are more prone to this form of jealousy than the other. Vigilance is a form of jealousy, where whenever you feel jealous, you're gonna start stalking your girl, right? And I've known guys that do that kind of stuff. You're gonna start following, looking at everything that they do because you feel jealous. But also, it's natural. It's a natural thing, right? You're trying to conserve what's yours, right? But then, and he'll be looking at what you do, and it'll be subtle. So that's why it's not hard to make a guy that likes you feel jealous, right? Because they're paying attention to everything. He'll notice everything, especially the things you try to hide, right? But unfortunately, for some, I don't know what the percentage of the population this is. The other form of jealousy that they've experienced and they show is violence, attacking their mates, attacking your mate's partner, right? Or even verbal violence, right? All of those things, you got to watch out for that. So that's one thing, the envy part. Serotonin level goes down. He feels like shit. And to get you back, that's the only way he's going to feel like a man, right? The second thing is that he's going to have a desire to connect with you. Why? Because there's no oxytocin. Physical contact with your mate is what produces oxytocin, right? The physical touching, kissing, it creates an imprint in the man's brain, a literal physical imprint in his reward system that will associate you with pleasure and love, right? And what's gonna happen is that if he actually loved you or he liked you and you go no contact on him, it's gonna make him long for a connection. And don't worry about hurting him. Don't worry about making him jealous because the beauty about oxytocin is that it allows you to forgive and forget, right? It's actually one of the primary neurochemicals in the brain that causes you to forgive abusers, okay? Yeah, and it's just a pretty stupid thing. That's why humans do that shit, right? And the beauty is that if he's at a low point in his life, or you know, and the funny thing is that usually breakups happen during the holidays, so it's kind of crazy. If he's at a low point of his life, the threatening feeling will inspire him to want to connect with you. Why? Because he has no other option, right? It's like guys have pride, I get it, but whenever he feels like shit, he feels jealous, he feels like he's gonna lose his girl, that's gonna cause him to lose his pride and just make a move. Because the other option of just staying still is worse. That's why some zebras would rather stay with their zebra buddies who are biting their asses, who kick each other. Zebras are fucking violent towards each other. They'd rather stay with them because if they leave the tribe, they're gonna get eaten by hyenas, right? It's the same thing. I'd rather fucking lose my pride and hopefully you could take me back. You see what I'm saying? Right? And that's why exes come back that's why a lot of exes came back during the quarantine, because a lot of them felt like they were at a low point, and in order to feel good, they're going to want to connect, right? Not feeling fulfilled by your lover makes you search, not feeling fulfilled by your life in general makes you search for love, right? And so that search for love is fueled by dopamine, right? Dopamine is what fuels you because you're gonna say, hopefully it'll work. And which goes into the next thing. He will lust after you, right? The hope of having you, the brain is gonna because dopamine is not about pleasure, it's about the anticipation, right? And so he's gonna say, man, there has to be hope. Maybe if I call her, maybe if I buy this course. And so what's gonna happen? Dopamine is gonna send dopamine throughout your brain, but it's gonna be fueled with testosterone, right? It's not just gonna be dopamine; it's gonna have testosterone, and so it's gonna be filled with lust and desire for you. Why? Because this is the thing, is that when you're away, the time when a guy wants you most is not when you're there, it's when you're away, right? In fact, studies show that a man's testes, his balls, create more sperm when you're away. Why? Because what the evolutionary reason behind this, let me make sure this shit is recording. I'm like, the evolutionary reason behind this is because it's saying, if you're away, you must be banging some dude. So I'm gonna make sure I make a lot of sperm so that when I shoot my club up inside, right? It'll destroy all of the other sperms from other dudes, and hopefully I can impregnate you. That's what DNA says. It's pretty fucking straight to the point, right? So what happens? So he's gonna want to be with you, right? But deep down, there's a fear that it might not work out. Deep down, he says to himself, this strategy of me calling her or me or and all that kind of stuff might not work out. So in those moments of him not being with you and feeling that pain, his cortisol levels will rise, right? And that's gonna cause him, whenever cortisol levels rises, it causes you to pay attention. Why? Because cortisol is the opposite of dopamine. Cortisol says that it's kind of like saying, it's kind of like you're trying to win a championship and you lose a championship, and because you didn't lose a championship and because you lost a championship, rather than feeling dopamine, you feel cortisol, right? So cortisol is the opposite of dopamine, right? But what happens is that cortisol causes you to remember what happened, to remember the events leading up to the rise in cortisol. So, for example, let's just say that that you walked into an empty hallway, right? And you got jumped, right? Boom, you got jumped. You got shit got stolen. Now the next time, now your brain is gonna remember, don't go to an empty place, an empty hallway, because you might get jumped. So now there's cortisol level. The cortisol is gonna help you remember what led up to getting your ass beat. You see what I'm saying? So it causes self-reflection. It causes you to remember the things you did bad that caused you to go there. And you're going to want to avoid it, because the number one thing about the limbic system is to avoid pain and gain pleasure. That's the number one thing that guides humans, right? So it'll cause them to self-reflect. So after lusting you, not only does it cause a guy to lust after you, it causes a guy to self-reflect. Because the cortisol levels is going to be going wild. It'll communicate pain. It communicates pain and alerts you, the opposite of dopamine. So if the relationship was based on dopamine and not real love, oxytocin, what's funny is that those relationships are actually harder to get over, right? Why? Because dopamine, people who are studies show that people who are very dopamine filled, who live a life based on dopamine and excitement, those people cannot handle high levels of cortisol. They cannot handle it. They don't have the capacity of most people, right? So those people, so it's kind of like, if this was an egoic relationship, if you're being with this guy because it makes you look good in front of others, and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna have a harder time getting over them, because it wasn't really love. Right? So the pain will be harder to handle as a result, right? When the brain releases cortisol, it'll remember what led up to it, the mistakes he did, and he'll self-reflect. He'll notice what made you. He'll remember, or even what's funny is that even if he didn't do nothing wrong, because the brain is so desperate to get back what it had, it'll even start saying to himself, maybe I did this wrong, and it'll start blaming himself for things he really didn't do, and it's kind of toxic, right? But for the healthy ones, it'll make him self-reflect, and he might even apologize, right? But that don't mean that he don't change. That don't mean he's going to change in general, but that's just what happens, right? Right? If he contacts you during those painful days, reward it, because then he's going to say, his brain is going to say, to get her attention, all I got to do is chase. But what you could do better off is don't just respond to him. If he ever contacts you and texts you, baby, I want to work it out, all you gotta do is don't give him a good response. Give him a response that could be interpreted as no or a yes. It could be maybe liking the message. It'll make him say, what does it mean that she liked my message? And then he'll chase more, because he has no other options, right? Give him answers of maybes, or perhaps not answers of certainty. Give him uncertain answers, but with hope, so that dopamine fuels his action, so that he can continue chasing. Never give him a straight answer. Never make him feel like he completely got you there, right? Because it's the hope of getting to the place of consistency that will make him chase harder. That will increase cortisol at a high level when he notices that things may or may not be going the right way, right? And because the beauty is that if there's a hint that he could get you back, he'll take action. Dopamine will tell him, and this dopamine is not just dopamine; it's also marinated with testosterone, right? And as a result, it'll tell him that there's a reward if he takes action, and that's how you actually kind of like train a guy to chase you and stuff like that. It's kind of fucked up, right? Well, it is what it is. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is what goes on Actually, this should be called the neurochemistry of men during no contact. Honestly, I would just call it the neuropsychology of men during no contact. That's what I could call it that. All right, ladies, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a very research dense video. I guess my research is coming along. Okay, I'm really excited about learning. I love learning people. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's really something that I find. And if there's any professors, any people who are in college, I need a recommendation letter for school. So if anybody would want to give me a recommendation letter, just DM me on Instagram. You see in the description down below. Help a brother out, okay? All right, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay toxic, my friends.
All right, so if you're a nice girl, if you're tired of being played, if you're tired of people not respecting you, if you resent that people don't take you seriously, if people just see you as a sex object, if you feel like people are always playing you, I would highly recommend you check out this course called Nice Girl. I rarely put out courses, and every one of my courses is a specific purpose. Psychological game of attraction was for single people. Natural chemistry was for women in relationships. This course is for specific nice girls. Now, most of you guys are nice. Most of you guys have great hearts. Unfortunately, men take advantage of you. So I have this limited time course. Specifically, you guys can only buy it and get access to it July and November. Now, if you purchase it in July or November, you could have access to it all year round. But you could only purchase it July and November. So this month only, you guys can purchase this course. It's only for a limited time, right? So in this course, you're pretty much gonna learn about how to set boundaries, how to project a powerful presence, how to create healthy boundaries, how to communicate yourself in an assertive way, how to not let people take advantage of you. Like, you're gonna learn the art of how to identify those who are trying to take advantage of you, how to assert yourself, signs of weakness, signs of strength, and how to communicate signs of strength, and how to lower the signs of weakness. All of these things, I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, look, okay? If you just do what this course says, just doing what this course says is gonna improve not only your dating life, but your professional life, your personal life, your social life with your friends and family. Because people will always try to test you. People will always see whether or not they can take advantage of you, even a fucking child. So by purchasing this course, you could create a healthy immune system. There are 3 types of immune system. There is your body's immune system. There is an emotional immune system that you increase through meditation. And then there's a social immune system that is through self-assertion. Okay, so this course will help you build that social immune system to push away certain behaviors from your life and certain people, and by default you attract the right people. So check out that course. One, it's not okay. Look, I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's not gonna fix the problems 100%. I'm not here to lie to you guys. I'm here to give you a realistic expectation. Okay, it's not gonna completely change your life from day to night. But if you do what the videos say. Okay, if you're 20%, if you're at a 20% in terms of assertiveness, by finishing this course, you could go through it 40%. Now you guys might say, where are the evidence for it? In my life only, okay? And through people's experience through applying these methods and through doing research about what actually helps assertiveness, okay? So I thoroughly researched this course. I put a lot of thought into it. It's not complete. Next month, I'm going to add another part, which if you buy it now, you're going to have access to it, okay? So I'll see you guys inside that course, and stay toxic, my friends. Purchase it now, or I'm closing the channel, okay? See you guys inside.